Enjoying secrets of a sugar daddy? How about a little something extra? Here's today's dose of extra sugar with Marcus.
Hey, this is Marcus, and welcome to this segment of Extra Sugar. I've got a good one for you today. 16 secrets and stories from sugar babies that are so wild, they'll make your jaw drop. We've thankfully entered a period where professions that were previously viewed as shameful, such as sex work, are now openly discussed and even perceived as empowering. For example, I've seen a lot of honest dialogue on TikTok about what it's like to be a sugar baby, which is when someone is pampered or financially compensated by an older and typically wealthier person for the companionship and or sexual favors they provide. So here are some recent stories from sugar babies about the inner workings of their profession, and here are their candid responses. Number 1, I dabbled in it during the financial crisis around 2009 and had a ball. Designer bags, trips away, dinner at the Ritz, and I never slept with anyone. Number 2, I was a plus-size sugar baby and knew a lot of straight-size sugar babies. The treatment of plus-size girls is vastly different. Sugar daddies would expect more from me despite me clearly laying out boundaries that they agreed to because they felt as though I owed them more since they were settling for less than what they deserved. Others would try to pay you less than they would a straight-size sugar baby because you're worth less. If you're anything other than thin and young, it'll destroy your self-esteem because some sugar daddies can be so abusive and hurtful. Number 3, I'm 19. And I've been a sugar baby for about a year and a half. Honestly, I really enjoy it. I get around $300 to $400 per meetup, and I've found in my experience that the sex and the conversations are way better with an older guy. I'm always upfront with them that I'm looking for long-term with no emotional attachment though. I'm not looking to fall in love. Number 4, I'm 21 and my sugar daddies are 32, 43, and 52. I have 3 of them and see them each week or every other week. They are so generous and lovely to be around. My experience has been amazing. I use the site Seeking. I have only been doing this for 3 months, but everyone I met is so kind, respectful, and polite. They really care about if you're enjoying yourself. I've never had a guy my age treat me like this. It isn't just about the money when you really become someone's sugar baby. You spend time with them. They take you on vacations and shower you with gifts. I am a college student. I never need to work again. This is the best opportunity I have come across in my life. Number 5, as a man, my experiences were pleasant. I got to travel the world, become a certified public accountant, and build my own house. Sugar dating is not all about looks. Different clients need different things. Every date feels like an interview. You have to assess if you are capable of fulfilling their needs and if you feel comfortable. I was fortunate enough to find a loving older partner from my experiences who provided for me during my college years so I did not have to work and could focus solely on school. Number 6, I've been doing it for 5 years now. I was introduced to it by a friend's older sister. Initially it was weird because all the guys are old and some aren't very attractive, but you get over it. The men will test you, an arm around the shoulder first, then waist, then who knows what next. I found that most of the men respect boundaries. My main daddy right now is married, but he pays for my rental house, which is not too far from where he and his family live. Everyone always asks about sex, but it's not like that. Yes, sex can happen, but only if you want it to. One daddy ended up paying for me and my girlfriend to party in Vegas. He was with us the whole time, but he paid for everything for all of us: food, cabanas, clubs, shopping. He was very adamant that I stay with him in his suite all weekend. It all depends on the girl. I do not work full time. I actually make my living by reselling the designer gifts I receive. I have no need for multiple Birkin bags, but the money I get from them is going to buy me a house. I'm more than halfway there. Number 7, long-term sugar baby here. I now have savings and an investment portfolio, bonds, priceless designer pieces that I also see as investments, and a relatively stress-free life. I'm on my 3rd long-term arrangement in 6 years, living in central London. He is currently teaching me how to buy and trade Bitcoin and crypto. He's incredibly sweet, loving, non-invasive in my day-to-day life, an emotional support system, and has a very high-up, respectful job, but has no time for marriage or a typical girlfriend. He's helped me get my driver's license, a car, and sends me weekly books and intelligence homework to help me broaden my knowledge and keep up with him. I'm currently registered under his company, and he acts as my guarantor and reference if I ever decide to work. However, with the help he's given me and the money, I probably won't have to. He drew up a 10-page agreement with all the things we wanted and expected from our arrangement, and I'm in the best position I've ever been in my life. Number 8. I was briefly a sugar baby in college when I was 25. Honestly, it wasn't a bad experience. I just was in a bad situation with no other options. I was at the end of my first year of college, and my parents could no longer afford the tuition to the private university I was attending. I eventually went on a couple of dates and decided to go with a sugar daddy in his 60s because he agreed to 2 dates a month, monthly tuition payments, and a monthly cash allowance. When my parents asked where I got the money for school, I said that I found a job as an assistant I could now cover tuition. I found that maintaining that lifestyle was really stressful, and I really just wanted to enjoy college. Number 9. I had a sugar daddy when I was around 20. We started off as friends, and he kept offering me stuff even if I wasn't asking for it. He let me know that he liked me and I didn't have to reciprocate. He was just so nice and kind that I gave in. I knew it couldn't lead to a serious relationship since I wanted a family and he was done having kids. 7 years later, I met a man I was willing to settle down with, and we ended our setup, but remained friends. Number 10. I truly believe you need to be aware of what your role is. True, it's not only about sex, but it's not just about receiving things either. This is a job. You mind the way you look, the things you say, etc. You need to be more or less available for them, and you need to give as much as you take. For me, especially with one daddy, it was all about being cheerful and positive because that's what he enjoyed. I couldn't really talk about my personal problems because he had enough of that from his job and family. He hated whiners. I had to be like, oh, everything is sweet in my life. It requires commitment. Number 11. I had one. I was more of a casual sexual relationship than a sugar daddy baby relationship. He was 20 years older than me, and when he came to my city for work, we would hang out. He mainly wanted company while he was in town. That consisted of him taking me to nice dinners or bars, and then us going back to his room for the night. We both knew what kind of relationship we had and knew this wouldn't be a forever thing. I will say, it was freeing to be with him. I could talk to him about stuff regarding friends and family without fear of them finding out because he didn't know any of them. I also didn't feel the pressure to commit. He was a true gentleman. I can honestly say I enjoyed his company. The extra money he'd leave for me for shopping or bills didn't hurt either. Number 12. I was taken care of by a very wealthy older man while I was at university. We were both single, we both enjoyed one another's company, and we both despised Chardonnay. It was advantageous for him to tell his middle-aged buddies he had a 21-year-old girlfriend, I suppose. I just received some amazing gifts, some phenomenal travel experiences, and ultimately a good friend for a lot of years after we stopped hooking up. I think this is another cultural phenomenon that gets blown wildly out of proportion. If you think it's salacious, you just may be a little puritanical. I don't know. You do you. Number 13. Hi. Long-term sugar baby here. I really enjoy what I do. I have a full-time job and use the money just as extra so I'm not as worried about paying things like rent. I am normally attracted to older men, so it makes it a lot easier for me than it is for some other women. As long as you're careful in every aspect, it's a great way to earn some extra money. I have one long-term sugar daddy that I meet up with every once in a while. I usually get $400 a time with him, or things like rent paid. Number 14. I was a sugar baby for a while, mostly got cash and shopping sprees, usually $200 to $300 a meetup, whether we just went to dinner or otherwise. We would meet up at hotels mostly. I didn't do it for long because I decided to go back to work for more stability, but it was definitely worth it while it lasted. Number 15. I had a number of sugar daddies from ages 18 to 21. I moved to a different state for college and couldn't fit in a job with a busy academic schedule, so I was in need of cash. I met the guys through Seeking, and they'd usually take me out to a nice restaurant or bar, and if there was a mutual attraction and consent, sex would be involved, but that was not the case for all. They'd give me cash, and I even had one guy that used cannabis, like me, and gave me some in addition to cash. Number 16. I'm a full-time college student and went to meet a guy on Tinder for a hookup. We started seeing each other a few times, and after the third time, he told me he wanted to be my sugar daddy. He gives me money for groceries, buys me clothes, and if I go out with friends, he gives me money to spend. He has gifts delivered to my house like flowers. He's only 4 years older than me, and he just wants to spend his money on me. He says it makes him happy to do so, so I can't complain. I have my own job and go to school, but it's really nice getting all these things I usually wouldn't for myself. So that's this segment of Extra Sugar. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have a story about being a sugar baby, you can always go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com and leave me a message there. And don't forget to catch our full episodes every Tuesday. And we always appreciate a follow on Instagram. And don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. All right, until next time, bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed your Extra Sugar with Marcus. As always, visit our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, to comment or tell us your story.